What's up, guys? Gill from SJ, and I want to talk about the whole Ole Gunnar Solskjaer situation and how right now Man United as a whole is just an absolute shambles. So before I talk about Ole himself, I do want to go ahead and say this is not going to be an Ole out video. This is not going to be me insulting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This is going to be me giving you my opinion on why things are going so poorly for the club as a whole. This all started, and we all know this all started when David Moyes replaced Sir Alex Ferguson. And I don't even think that's 100% David Moyes' fault. I think the simple fact that we lost in the same time Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill, the two biggest figures of the club in terms of how everything about the club was run, that completely ruined everything about the club. Ed Woodward came in, who is phenomenal when it comes to getting sponsors and making money in general, but from a football point of view, he's an atrocity. The Glazers have been shit ever since they bought Man United. Why? Because they don't actually care about the club. They just want to get as much money as possible in their pockets. And that's fine as long as you're winning. And if you want to know, like, how people are going to say, United used to win all the time when the Glazers first showed up, right? And that's right. That's very true. But just think about this, okay? To replace Cristiano Ronaldo, who left with a world record transfer fee of almost 100 million pounds or whatever it was, we replaced him with Michael Owen, Antonio Valencia, and if I'm not mistaken, Gabriel Obertan. These are the players that were brought in to replace Cristiano Ronaldo. Those players. Okay, so we know the Glazers are shit. Apart from that, okay, ever since David Moyes came in, the transfer plan has been atrocious every single year. David Moyes' only transfer window, I don't think he was even there for January, was he? But yeah, I think he actually was. But regardless, that's right, because he was there against Bayern Munich in the round of 16. No, what was it? Round of 16 in the Champions League. Anyway, so David Moyes, he was only able to sign one player, and that was Marouane Fellaini. Was Juan Mata there? I don't remember if Juan Mata came in with David Moyes or not. I think it was under Louis van Gaal. I'm having a blank. I think it may have been with David Moyes. But regardless, okay? He signed Marouane Fellaini in his first transfer window. That there was just no clear indication of where the team was going from there. Louis van Gaal came in. What did he try to do? He tried to build a very Dutch-style team with possession-based football and really trying to play on the counterattack and not really expose themselves at all defensively. So he went to sign a bunch of technical players who were kind of small, not really big in stature, and were basically just kind of trying to move the ball around as much as possible, play possession football, and counterattack whenever they have the opportunity. Okay? He signed some good players, like Martial. I think Mata was signed by him. I could be wrong about that, like I said. But he signed some really, really good players, like Daley Blind, who has gone on with Ajax to do phenomenal things. I always thought he was one of our best defenders when he was there. And just in general, okay, he did sign some top players. Willie Zaha, for example, stuff like, no, Zaha was signed by Sir Alex Ferguson and David Moyes. Anyway, we had some good players there. Unfortunately, once Louis van Gaal was sacked, after, by the way, winning an FA Cup, we brought in Jose Mourinho, which is, of course, top manager. You would think he's going to do great things. The problem is, he didn't like any of the players that Louis van Gaal signed. So almost every single one of those players was sold by Jose Mourinho, which means we had to replace all of those players. And he went with a completely different style. He wanted very physical players, okay? So a completely different style to the players that we already had at the club. Which means we had a bunch of players that didn't fit his style of play. So we were shit for a while. The second season, he himself has admitted, he achieved one of arguably his best achievement of his entire career, which is finishing second with that team. We saw the season after that how good that team actually is and how big of an achievement that truly was. Okay? Fast forward to Jose Mourinho being sacked. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, rightfully so, he wants to bring back the Man United culture. So he tried to get rid of all the players that didn't quite want to be there, except for Paul Pogba. Okay, so all the players that don't actually want to be at the club, he got rid of. Alexis Sanchez, Romelu Lukaku, got rid of some guys like Matteo Darmian as well. A few players that, just were bench players, and a few of them that were just basically taking up a bunch of money and not really, wanting to be at the club. So I respect that 100%. The problem is, as always, the board did not back the manager. They didn't go 100% into signing the players that he wanted or actually improving the team, not just in attack, but everywhere. And of course, this season they actually did something that they don't usually do. They brought in some actually top level defenders. They brought in Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's going to be an excellent defender in the future, and already is really, really solid. They brought in Harry Maguire, who's one of the best defenders in the Premier League and has a potential of being, alongside Virgil van Dijk, possibly the best. As long as he can improve and as long as he has good defenders around him. Unfortunately, we still have Victor Lindelof. We still have Luke Shaw. They aren't good enough. Luke Shaw is not bad. Victor Lindelof is okay. But they aren't top-level footballers. They're not Danny Rose. They're not Kyle Walker. Okay? They're not Virgil van Dijk. Fuck, they're not even Rudiger half the time. Okay? So that's a big issue. Axel Tuanzebe is finally getting some game time because that kid has a ton of potential. He's going to be very, very good in the future. But we're talking about a defensive lineup that has basically never played with each other. They've never met each other, really. Only a few of them have. So, it's going to take a little bit of time for that team to gel, and that's perfectly fine. But you look at the rest of the team. They got rid of Ander Herrera, who is arguably, alongside Paul Pogba, our best midfielder. I would say he was our number 2 best midfielder. Okay? They got rid of Romelu Lukaku. Got rid of Alexis Sanchez. None of these players were replaced. Not a single one of them. Not a single one of them. We're stuck with a midfield with Matic, who's old and useless. McTominay, who does what he does. He's nothing special. He's nothing insanely special. He's a good player. He gives you some quality. He gives you plenty of running. So I respect the hell out of that kid. Andreas Pereira has absolutely not lived up to the hype and the potential that he seemed to have. Okay? Fred is a joke of a player, to be honest with you. He's a fucking joke. Okay? Who else is there? There's nobody else. We're relying on Marcus Rashford, who has a ton of potential, but is he a real striker? Doesn't really seem like it. He does too much around the pitch to be a striker. Wayne Rooney. One of the biggest criticisms that Wayne Rooney had for a while was that he tried to do too much. When he was just being a fucking striker, the man was banging in 30 goals a season. When he would try to be a cam, when he would try to do too many different roles for the team, that's when Wayne Rooney wasn't getting the best out of his goals ratio. So Rashford should be playing on the wing. That's where he should be playing. But unfortunately, for some reason, Ollie decides to play him as a striker when we have Mason Greenwood, who is clearly a striker. And I get it. You don't want a 17-year-old to be the starter, and I get that. But the fucking cards on the table, man. You have to look at what you have on the goddamn table. Dan James, he's good. He's nothing special. His crossing is poor. He scored a few goals, but he hasn't done anything other than that. His passing is pretty poor. He runs his ass off, and I respect the fuck out of that. He works as hard as he can. I respect the fuck out of that. But he's just not a top-level player. Andreas Pereira has proven he's not that level. He's not on that level. We have to start to understand that, yes, Ollie isn't necessarily a great manager. He's clearly out of his depth in terms of his tactical abilities and his know-how of how to change a match throughout the game. His substitutions are usually pretty poor. He doesn't really seem to know what he's doing. And that's fine. He might not be the right man. But the board has consistently, year after year, manager after manager, made the wrong decision. Is this Ollie's fault? In part, yes. But the number one bullshit artist is Ed fucking Woodward. That man appoints bullshit every fucking time. He makes the wrong decision every time. And he does it for one fucking reason. Money. Every single time his decision is made based on one thing. And that's the Man United stocks. That's the only thing he gives a fuck about. That's why he should be put in charge of the economical side of things. And somebody like, I don't know, Patrice Evra, who actually loves the fucking club, should be brought in to be the sporting director. That man will put in every ounce of his being. Like he said many a time, when he represents Man United, his fucking life is for Man United. Everything he does is for the club. Ed Woodward is not that kind of guy. He wants the money side of things. That's it. Let him be in charge of that like he used to be. Let a Patrice Evra, a Rio Ferdinand, somebody who fucking bleeds the club, and put him in charge of the football side of things. And watch him, watch one of those two men, or somebody who is actually qualified to do the job and fucking knows what they're talking about when it comes to football, and let them try to make some of the decisions. Because as of right now, the Glazers, the fucking dumbass that is Woodward, all these guys continuously make the wrong choice. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer probably should never have been given the job full time. They should have waited, like they said multiple times, until the end of the season. They released many a document, many a statement saying no appointment would be made until the summer when they had plenty of time to evaluate the situation. What happened? Ali went on an incredible 10-game win streak, something like that, whatever it was, and they immediately gave him a contract. The day that me and my dad, shout out to Sweenyo, went to see United play against Burnley at Old Trafford, you could see that fucking match right there. That when things were going badly, Ali unfortunately didn't know how to change the tactics. That game, we were playing against Burnley, a physical team, a tough team, and every fucking move was a cross in the box. We don't have the players, or we didn't last year because Lukaku wasn't playing. We didn't have the players to be playing crosses. We needed to play the ball on the floor. And what happened throughout the entire game? It didn't matter who was on the pitch. It was the same strategy. Move after move after move. Things never changed. And that just is the problem that we see on a consistent basis. Every single week, Ollie picks the same type of tactics. Whoever's on the pitch, it doesn't matter. Same tactics. Same tactics. No changing. No formation changes. And that he has to be blamed for that. At the same time, the players have to be blamed for underachieving in every fucking match. I don't give a fuck who was playing against Newcastle. There is no excuse for that. No excuse for that. 0 shots on target in 2 games, basically, against AZ Alkmaar and fucking Newcastle United. We are 2 points above the relegation zone. Ali and the players are equally to blame, but make no mistake about it. The number one thing that is wrong with this club is the board. Everything about it is corrupt as fuck in terms of how they are just absolutely using every ounce of this club to make as much money as possible without actually investing into it and building a team. Building what is needed. This is going to take years at this rate for United to even be an okay team. 700 million at least is what's going to be needed to make this team okay, let alone competing for a title. Liverpool, they're skyrocketing. City, they're having a hard time, but they're going to fucking get back to the top. There's no doubt about that. That's a phenomenal team right there. Okay? Tottenham, they're in the shit show right now, just like us. Because there's problems in the locker room. They will get better. Arsenal, they're at least getting better in terms of what they're doing offensively. The rest of the team is shit, and Unai Emery's a dumbass, but they're still seemingly improved. Chelsea, they weren't able to buy a single player in the transfer market because of their ban, and they're somehow still light years better than us. Light years better than us. How is that even possible? So, the board, I sincerely hope the Glazers just fuck right off and somebody buys the club. I don't care who it is. It could be, I don't know, the fucking worst oligarch in the world. Alright? Buy the fucking club. Do something. Do something. Save this fucking club from the Glazers. Alright? Because these people are fucking cunts. Ever since they came in, they've continuously refused to pay the monstrous debt that the club has because of them. They refuse to actually invest in a big way in the club. And they just take out all that money. Bring in all those sponsors, and they don't give a fuck. So yes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be fired very soon. Make no mistake about it. His days are numbered. 100%. But is it his fault? Partially, yes, because of his tactics. But realistically, he never should have been given the job in the first place. Because if they'd have just waited until the end of the season, like they said they would have realized things were going as bad as they were with Jose Mourinho, as bad as they were with Louis van Gaal, as bad as they were with David Moyes. It doesn't matter who's in charge. Everything is shit from the board. The players aren't good enough. Just the infrastructure of the club isn't good enough. And things have to change there. Once the infrastructure is better, there's a chance. But right now, it doesn't matter. Massimiliano Allegri is apparently going to be the next manager. Whether they sack Ollie soon enough or whether he's going to come in the summer, I don't know. I like Allegri a lot. I think that he's a phenomenal manager in terms of tactics. So I'd love to see that. But are things going to change? I don't really think so, honestly. As long as the Glazers are there and as long as Ed Woodward is doing dumb shit constantly, I don't really see things changing. So is it Ollie's fault? Tactically, yes. But it's definitely not only his fault. The players, they underachieve constantly. And most importantly, the board, who are running arguably the biggest club in the world. Definitely not now. We were definitely up there alongside Real Madrid and Barcelona. But as of right now, we are a shit show. We're the new Arsenal. And things are not looking good, guys. So that is it for this video. I'm sorry it was a long one. I wanted it to be a little bit shorter, but I kind of started ranting, and I had a lot of stuff I want to get off my chest. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time a video comes out. That's pretty much the only way that a channel like mine can actually get some traction. So I appreciate anybody who does any of those things. And like I said, man, let me know in the comment section down below what you think is next for Ollie. Like I said, I think he's going to be sacked very, very soon, to be honest with you. I don't see them giving him any time, and it's a shame. It's a shame, but it is what it is, I guess. That's football. You know, you can't be judged as a club legend. You have to be judged on your performances, and quite frankly, things aren't going well at all. So if it does come to that, then I guess it is what it is. But guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.